The film begins with Mike, a thief, getting fully ready in his apartment, picking up his gun, and heading out. He drives to a location and waits in his car, keeping an eye on his target. Meanwhile, at a jewelry store, the owner hands over paperwork to a couple of insurance officers who have come to collect a diamond delivery. Once they receive the diamonds and begin heading out, they come across a car stopped in the middle of the road. Mike, now wearing his mask, steps out and holds one of the officers at gunpoint. He forces the officer to give him the safe code, takes the diamonds, shoves the officer into the trunk, and calmly drives away. He parks the getaway car in a parking lot, covers it with a sheet, switches to his other car, and goes home. Denny Daniels, an insurance agent, visits the home of a wealthy man named Chad to pitch coverage for his expensive paintings. While there, she runs into Chad's daughter Jade, who introduces her fiancé Eva Adam and mentions that the two of them are getting married very soon. Denny sees the opportunity and immediately starts pitching wedding insurance as well. On the other side of the city, Detective Mark and his team are going over the details of the diamond heist. They find fake diamonds left at the scene. Mark notices that the thief had precise knowledge of both officers' delivery schedules, had disabled all the cameras along the route, and executed everything without leaving a single loose end. It's clear to Mark that this is no ordinary criminal. Mike goes to meet his contact Nick, who supplies him with everything he needs for his jobs. Mike tells Nick that the last heist went slightly wrong, a bullet had grazed him, and he's been shaken ever since. He already had a plan ready for another diamond store robbery, but has decided to hold off for now, wanting instead to go after something much larger. Nick agrees to wait. However, behind Mike's back, Nick goes and meets a small-time thief named Barry, shares Mike's entire plan with him, tells him to carry out that robbery himself, and asks him to keep a close watch on Mike. One night, while Mike is out driving, a woman named Maya accidentally crashes her car into his. Mike notices she's attractive. They exchange insurance details, and in the process, end up exchanging numbers too, with a clear mutual interest between them. The next day, Mark visits Denny to discuss the diamond heist insurance claim. Denny doesn't want the company paying out without a thorough investigation. She believes that in most theft cases, there's someone on the inside. She pushes for polygraph tests of the shop owners before any settlement. Mark finds this excessive, but is genuinely impressed by how sharp her thinking is. He later goes through thousands of old theft cases and maps out a precise pattern. The thief always works near Highway 1001, plans each robbery with perfect timing, has prior knowledge of where the diamonds will be and when, and has never once harmed anyone, using his gun only to intimidate. Meanwhile, Barry carries out his version of the robbery. He attacks the officer, delivering diamonds to a store, beats him badly, then goes inside and assaults the rest of the staff. He stuffs all the diamond necklaces and gold pieces into a bag and walks out. That night, Mike and Maya go out on a date. They enjoy each other's company, but neither says anything about what they actually do for a living. After the date, they go their separate ways. Mike then finds out that the robbery he had planned was carried out by someone else at that exact location. He immediately suspects Nick arranged it. He goes and confronts Nick, who shrugs it off, saying Mike wasn't going to do it anyway. Mike tells him this isn't about the robbery, it's about trust, and that Nick should have told him before going behind his back. He warns Nick that if this ever happens again, they're finished. Nick fires back with a threat, telling Mike he's nothing without him. Mike walks out and cuts him off for good. The next day, Nick meets Barry and gives him details about Mike and his hacker, Devin, telling him to keep watching both of them since Mike will certainly go after a big score soon. Barry agrees. He begins tailing Devin and at one point spots Mike outside a restaurant. Inside, Devin is handing Mike Denny's complete daily schedule, which Mike receives with satisfaction. 2 days later, Mike is watching Denny at a restaurant, planning to bring her in as an inside contact for a major heist. They happen to meet at the valet outside. Mike starts a conversation, and the two of them end up talking about cars, something Mike is clearly very passionate about. Denny finds herself impressed, and he leaves after a short exchange, having planted the seed. That night, Maya comes over to Mike's place. They spend time together, dancing and talking, and their romance begins to take shape. But later, when Mike steps outside, he spots Barry lurking nearby and realizes his location has been compromised. He checks his car and finds a tracking device underneath it. Within 2 days, he packs up and moves to a new place. Around the same time, Barry tracks down Devin and tries to force information out of him about Mike's plans. Mark, meanwhile, is out in the city and spots Mike's old getaway car parked along Highway 1001 with cracked mirrors, confirming to him that this was the vehicle used in the heist. That evening, Denny is at an art show, trying to sell insurance to Chad and Eva on some new paintings, when Mike shows up. Denny walks over, and the two get talking. Mike is genuinely drawn in by the paintings and by the way Denny works people. He invites her to a nearby restaurant, and over dinner, he opens up about who he really is. He's a thief, who targets high-value items. And through insurance company information, he gets precise access to what's worth stealing and when. He then looks at Denny directly and tells her, she's spent 11 years at the same company, she's clearly the best at what she does, and she still hasn't been made a partner. She deserves more, and he can help her get it. Denny flatly refuses to be any part of something illegal. Mike simply says, if you ever change your mind, post a photo of your feet on Instagram, I'll reach out. On his way out, he notices Barry is still tailing Denny. Mike follows him in his car, rams his vehicle, and corners him inside a nearby supermarket. He puts a gun to him and makes it clear, follow either of them again, and he will hunt him down. Barry, shaken, backs off. The next day, Mark goes with his team to the scene of a reported theft, and watches as his colleagues shoot a fleeing thief, who turns out to be a young boy carrying no weapon. After the shooting, one of the officers quietly places a gun next to the boy's body to justify it. Mark is furious. When the matter goes to his senior, Mark is told to fall in line and match his colleague's version of events, that it was self-defense. He reluctantly agrees, and as a result of the incident, the team is given a 3-month break. Back at the office, a colleague named Mia informs everyone that she has locked in the insurance for Chad's wedding. She also reveals that Chad is planning to gift $5.5 million worth of diamonds to his wedding guests, with a diamond agent delivering them to the venue and collecting $5.5 million in cash in return, all off the books to avoid paying taxes. Larry is thrilled by the size of the deal. He then speaks to Denny and tells her, once again, that her promotion will have to wait until next year, since the company is in a difficult position. She points out the company is well in profit, that he became a partner in 5 years while she's been there for 11, and that if she doesn't get her promotion, she will take her entire client base and walk out. Larry tells her coldly to do whatever she likes. Denny walks out furious. Mark, meanwhile, has been working on DNA from a strand of hair found in Mike's abandoned car. The name that comes back is Jason Bix, but his last record in the system is from when he was just 8 years old. After that, the identity completely vanishes. Fed up and out of good options, Denny decides to move forward. She posts a photo of her feet on Instagram. Mike sees it and is pleased. She then contacts him and lays out the full plan. The diamond agent will arrive at Chad's wedding venue carrying $5.5 million in diamonds and will be collecting an equal amount in cash in return. If Mike steals both at the same time, the total comes to $11 million. Denny wants $3 million as her cut. Mike agrees immediately, but he needs the complete insurance file and full details on the guard that will be escorting the diamond agent. That night, Mike gets a call from the orphanage where he grew up. His guardian tells him that a detective came looking for someone named Jason. Mark gets on the line and tells Mike he wants to meet in person. Mike hangs up without saying a word. 2 days later, Mike travels to Antwerp and carefully scouts the wedding hotel, working out every detail of the heist. One evening, when Denny stays late at the office after everyone else has gone home, she pulls the guard's file and sends it to Mike. She then heads home, where Barry is inside, waiting for her. He grabs her and forces her to tell him everything she and Mike have planned. Denny, fearing for her life, reveals the entire plan. The next morning, she goes straight to Mark and confesses. Mark tells her that if he acts on this officially, she'll be the first arrested. She helped 2 criminals. He tells her to stay quiet and let him handle it. But he needs everything she knows about Mike. 2 days later, Mark revisits the evidence from the first robbery and quietly pockets the fake diamonds, already forming a plan. That same night, Maya presses Mike again to tell her something real about himself, who he is, where he comes from, why he keeps everything hidden. Mike refuses. Tired of being shut out, Maya breaks up with him and leaves. The day of the heist arrives. Mike drives to the Antwerp airport parking lot and intercepts the insurance guard, threatening his family and leaving him no choice but to cooperate. On the plane, Mark has already introduced himself to the real diamond agent and filled him in. Mark then walks out of the airport himself, playing the role of the agent. The guard, now under Mike's control, brings Mark directly to Mike's car. The two drive toward the wedding venue together, making small talk along the way. Mark mentions that he's always loved cars, but grew up too poor to ever own a decent one. Mike listens, but keeps his thoughts to himself. They arrive at the hotel and go up to the penthouse, where they find Chad and Eva. Mike immediately pulls a gun on all 3 and demands the cash and the diamonds. Eva opens a bag and hands over the cash. Mark opens the safe, and inside, there is a gun. Mark takes it and turns it on Mike. At that exact moment, Barry comes crashing in. He had pieced together the plan from what he forced out of Denny, and has been waiting for this. Barry now has everyone at gunpoint, threatening to kill them all. He shoots and wounds Chad, making clear that he intends to take everything and leave no one standing. Mark quickly realizes that Mike was never going to hurt anyone here. As Barry turns his gun toward Mark, Mike shoots Barry dead. Mark tells Mike to leave everything and walk out quietly. He will blame everything on Barry, close the case by naming him as the Highway 1001 thief, and that will be the end of it. Mike drops the diamonds and cash and slips out. Chad, wounded and furious, threatens to tell the truth to authorities. Mark calmly explains that doing so would mean disclosing the untaxed $5.5 million cash deal. Those undeclared diamonds would be seized, and Chad would face serious legal consequences. His best option is to repeat exactly what Mark tells him to say, and both his money and his diamonds stay safe. Eva steps in and convinces Chad to go along with it. The case is officially closed, with Barry as the culprit. Driving out of the city, Mike makes a quiet decision. Having come close to losing his life, he is done. This was his last job. 4 days later, the investigation concluded. Mark returns to the evidence room and swaps the real diamonds for the fake ones he took earlier, walking away with the genuine stones. He then goes to find Denny and gifts the diamonds to her, a quiet acknowledgement of everything she went through because of this situation. Denny thanks him and then pulls out a message from Mike, pointing Mark to a specific address. Mark drives there and finds a brand new car parked and waiting for him. A quiet thank you from Mike for letting him walk free. Across town, Maya is at her office when a letter arrives. She opens it to find an old childhood photograph of Mike, showing he grew up in a foster home with nothing, alongside a simple, honest note, asking for one more chance. Maya reads it, and she smiles. End of story.